Good evening and welcome to the Bluegrass, everyone. I'm Harry Brooks, or I guess some people call me the Bear. Or if you're looking on Twitter, you can find me at the Real Bear and all caps, or at the Real Bear on Google Plus or on YouTube. To everyone, hope you've had a blessed night so far, and we're about 10 minutes before the top of the hour, before 10 p.m. And tonight I will be covering part one of my series on criminal justice reform, and that is nonviolent and actually also people with a violent past for drug possession for them. But these are some guidelines I sort of came up with. I fully believe that a nonviolent drug possession should require a mandatory rehab program after the second offense. Why not the first, you say? Well, the first, you might be in an experimental stage at that point. So instead of paying a fine to the court, even after the first offense, you would be able to, yes, take that money that you were going to pay to the court. Not saying we're going to get rid of court costs, they still have to function, but pay the fine in order to get into the rehab, and also have part of that being job training. You say, well, a drug user, very good possibility you're going to get in jail and get with some really bad people, some violent people. That's the reason I propose having this facility put into two sections. If you have any violent convictions in your past, then you'll be put on the violent side. People who've never had any type of violence in their past will be put on the non-violent side. And we're going to make it mandatory on the second that you spend 6 months there. But get this, on the first one, instead of paying a fine to the court, you have the option of going ahead and going for rehab and job training and becoming a productive citizen, and maybe just stop you from becoming an addict. The second time, you're probably on your way to becoming an addict. Why give the correctional facility money? Let's make people well. Let's don't lock them up. You know, it's going to be that you can't leave or you will go to a jail. But excessive fines to the court should be paid to the rehab. Simple drug possession charge doesn't involve any jail time until the fourth offense. Why the fourth and not the third? I believe the person have a second chance at rehab, mandatory rehab. Most people fail on the first time. That's just a fact. I can give you the numbers on that if you'd like to contact me on that. But so on the fourth time, then we're talking yes, that you are definitely going to have to go and stay for 2 years while going through counseling, therapy, whatever you'd like to call it. But all those people, even then, if they don't have a violent past, they should be in a minimum security facility and never in a facility with violent offenders and those people that should be required therapy. You know, I realize that, you know, some of these sentences sound like a quite lengthy stay, but me being an addict in recovery, yes, that's me, a long time addict. I know that there's no way that spending 3 months away from drugs or alcohol, yes, we're talking alcohol as well, is going to get you away from that lifestyle. It takes at least 6 months to change, and the facts will prove that out. You just read the numbers. And by that third time, yes, a year. 1 year, but include the job training in it. Don't just be getting your mind right. Get things in order for your life once you get out. Because so many people, okay, they're getting their mind right and getting off drugs and getting chemically balanced, and they get out and they have no job skills. So what do? They go back to what they've already been doing, hustling. And that never works. Well, I shouldn't say never. There's always an exception to the rule. But that, for me, is one thing. But I had a friend from that lives in, yes, drug-ridden and gun-ridden Chicago. I got to have a shout-out to my good friend, longtime friend, Katie Hanley. She came up with the idea. She says, hey, listen, there's a lot of pushers, drug dealers up here that carry small amounts on them so they never get a trafficking charge. Well, we can have up to a certain amount of each drug, and after that it becomes automatic trafficking. So her answer to that was, Well, what if they just carry small amounts and keep all their stash somewhere else, which most do? Okay, then when they're arrested, what do they do when you get a DUI? Fill a sobriety test, and if you're arrested, being under the influence of drugs, then they do a blood test within 2 hours. And I think those should be mandatory. When you're arrested on a drug charge, prove that you're doing those drugs, that you're not just out there selling them. Yeah, some people are addicts that sell to support their habit. Notice, sell to support their habit. Some people are just out there getting people hooked and nothing more than that. So if we test these people and they don't have those drugs, they got it in their possession on them, they're not an addict and they're not a user. They're nothing more than a pusher, a dealer, the lowest of the low. But I want to hear all the ideas that you guys have on this. All of them. This is a place for free speech, freedom of religious expression. If you want to bring religion into it, this is a place where the Bill of Rights lives, the Constitution lives, and always will be. No one will be judged here. If you want to judge people, go somewhere else. But after we come to a decision on something, and this is going to be hard, I know, but we're going to do it just like the Senate does. Need a 2/3 majority and we'll pass our idea along to lawmakers. And if those lawmakers will not do anything, yes, eventually push could come to shove and we might have to find candidates who are willing to go out there and bring the will of the people back into government. We got government for the people and by the people. Let's make it reality again, because it hasn't been. It's been, people that are nothing but paid by lobbyists, millions of dollars. They go in and the Congress or the Senate and they come out way richer than they ever went in. How's that happen? Well, lobbyists. Oh, but that, I digress. That should be in another section. That's more in reforming the government than in just in reforming the criminal justice system. Well, one thing we don't have as of right now is equal protection under the law. We do not have that right now. There's a certain person, HRC, that's out there, and she is skating by right now. But I'll leave it off for that right now. It's been nice talking to you guys, and I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll be back later on this evening with part 2 on drug possession / trafficking. Thanks so much. I'm Harry Bear Brooks, and you guys have a blessed night. We'll see you shortly. Bye.